Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
As parents and then grandparents, did you ever wonder how come it takes so little time for a child who is afraid of the dark to become a teenager who wants to stay out all night? Inquiring minds want to know. Morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by our Patriot. We need somebody to call in this morning and be proud. Good morning. And a good morning to you on this Tuesday, April 2. And I'm Zeb Bell with Zeb at the Ranch and our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with a big, really big spring tire sale going on right now. And don't forget, too, along with some of our great advertisers, we have Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. My. Good morning. Let's have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, Wheels. And right now, let's go to the weather forecast brought to everybody by Roger and the crew over at KNR Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Hebron. You know, they always do get there early in the morning, but boy, they know it's springtime, and they're going to be really, really busy with the rental of the best tools and equipment around. For any project, you better get a hold of them today. Now, easy to find on the Burley-Paul Highway. You can't miss them, honestly. And what I would do if you're not sure what you need, call them. Talk to them, 678-3122. They can, and they will help you at KNR Rental. Right now, let's find out about the weather with Gina.
Precipitation on and off throughout the rest of the week, so expect to be a little bit soggy. Here's a look at your weather forecast. We are expecting 90% chance of rain showers for today. A little bit on the breezy side as well, expecting a high of 54. Tonight, those rain showers are going to continue with a low of 38, tapering over into tomorrow morning, but hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see some partly sunny skies with a high of 57. Overnight low of 32 for Wednesday night. By Thursday, sunny in the morning. However, rain showers are a possibility by Thursday afternoon, expecting a high of 52, and then we can pretty much expect rain showers throughout the weekend. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to everybody to kick things off in the morning by KNR Rental. Hello, Roger, and all the great folks over there. They get there early in the morning at 7 a.m. and to better serve you with all the tools and equipment you need. Springtime projects. You can get the equipment right there at KNR Rental on the Burley-Paul Highway. 678-3122. Want to remind you, Thursday is sale day at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with my friends Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy. It's the sale that works for you. 10 o'clock starting time at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard this Thursday. And don't forget, for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. Burley Livestock Sale Yard in Burley, sale time Thursday at 10 a.m. Also, we've got a program today that nobody else in the state of Idaho has, and for that matter, possibly in the Northwest. We've got Gregory Wrightstone, one of the most world-renowned experts on the absolute imbecilic belief in climate change and global warming. And Dr. History is going to be on at 9:30, a little earlier this morning, because at 10:06 we've got Dr. Jerome Corsi coming on our program, and he was one of the main names and characters involved in the Mueller investigation. So that's going to be at 10:06, and then at 10:32, Veronica Hinke. So we've got a lot of people coming on the program this morning. Good people. Don't forget Daryl's Cleaners at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Oh, you don't have time to do the washing, Bunky? Well, I'll tell you what. Throw everything into a big bag, run down to Daryl's Cleaners and say, help! And they will wash, dry, fold, and iron all your clothes, just like Mom used to do years ago. Well, all you need to do is just get in there. And whether you're having your Wranglers pressed or you're having your sports jackets cleaned, whatever, they do the best of anybody. Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. You stop in and see Kevin and Cindy today. Wow. Yesterday, we had a report on the equine herpes virus, and there were some really good questions. And if I don't know something, folks, I'm not going to give you balderdash like other talk show hosts will. I'm going to be honest with you. And I did some research, and I want to thank Dr. Bill. He helped us a little bit yesterday. And I did some more thanks to my lovely bride, but it's actually called EHV-1, the equine herpes virus. Now, there were some excellent questions that were called in. I wasn't quite sure about. You know, I've been around horses all my life, but there are so many strains of different diseases. As a matter of fact, I found out that EHV-1 has 35 different strains. Wow, I didn't know that. And it does not affect human beings, so don't worry about that. And there are several different strains, and it can be spread through the air, or it can be spread through contaminated equipment, or a person's clothing or hands. So I did say yesterday, don't let people on your property that you don't know where they've been, what they've done with their hands, or maybe they had a horse of their own and come up and pet your horse and go, oh, pretty horsey, pretty horsey. Don't let that happen, please, please. It is not going to infect other pets. And they do have a medication, a vaccine for it in a what they call a 5-way that's given normally in the spring. So those are just some of the things. As I said, there are currently vaccine products out there. 35 vaccine products are licensed to fight this and the various strains of EHV-1. So there you go, herpes virus. And very unfortunately, it has come back into Idaho through, I would say, some mismanagement and people not being alert. And now, along with, let's see, what are the states? I think they mentioned Nevada, Arizona, and Idaho are the three that they're watching the most. And hopefully they can get this thing under control. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley for all. This isn't bragging, this is a fact. All your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. And excellent people. I mean, the other day Jared was here, and we just had a nice visit. They are so sharp and so helpful and so polite, and you just get a hold of them today, 678-0459. They're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. Ramsey Heating and Electric. Over 6 decades. That's quite a deal. Serving you, Ramsey Heating and Electric. Also, before we get started on some of our stories this morning, I want to give a great big shout out. I have been on a self-imposed diet for a long time, and every time I do the ad for Denny's restaurant, I just want to bite the microphone. I tell you what, they have the best of breakfast, lunch, and dinner anytime, all the time, and all the desserts. Oh, the menu choices are delicious. At Denny's restaurant, 611 North Overland and Burley, and they are America's Diner. I urge you to stop in, and they've also got another location, 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Thomas and the entire crew at both locations serving you great service, great food at Denny's restaurant, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch, and of course, they are America's Diner. All right, let's open it up and go to the phone lines. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday or not. We were helter-skelter trying to get some things on yesterday. But the National Women's Hall of Fame inducted actress Jane Fonda. I'm not kidding. They have the Hall of Fame in Seneca Falls, New York. And they started doing this, I believe, back in 1848. And they decided they were going to put Hanoi Jane into the Women's Hall of Fame. And all heck has broken loose. There are a lot of people, rightfully so, that said, no, she is absolutely not worthy of being in the Women's Hall of Fame. Remember the picture of her sitting on one of the great big huge cannons over supporting the North Vietnamese? I mean, it was despicable. And now, even though she's of elderly age, Hanoi Jane is being put in the National Women's Hall of Fame. What are your thoughts on that? 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. At the Burley Senior Center on South Overland, today we're having roast pork, mashed taters and gravy, mixed vegetables, and, some kind of a bar for dessert. I forgot what it was.
Some kind of a bar?
Yeah.
Oh.
I had one yesterday. It was good.
Oh. No, it wasn't good. It was yummy, Joe.
Yummy. You got it.
All right, buddy.
Everybody to come out to the Senior Center. We need your participation. Only $5. If you buy 10 tickets at a time, you get them for $4.50.
All right, Joe. Thank you over at the Senior Center on Overland and Burley. Thank you for calling in, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, my. There's going to be a ripping good mule and horse sale coming up again. And we're going to have Fred on the air with us. I'm trying to remember what day he's scheduled to be on. I think it's going to be Thursday, as a matter of fact. Fred Snook up there at Lemhi County Fairgrounds in Salmon, the 47th Annual Salmon Select Horse Sale. It's going to be April 11th. They kick things off with a breakfast and all kinds of fun things going on in Salmon. Then the mule sale on the 12th, horse sale on the 13th, Saturday. Holy cow, you don't want to miss it. It's not just a sale. It's a happening with a lot of fun up there at the Lemhi County Fairgrounds in Salmon, the 47th Annual Salmon Select Horse Sale. For more information, get a hold of our friend Fred Snook at 208-756-2125. All right, your turn, callers. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I have said this about the Fondas, being Jane Fonda and her brother Peter Fonda. They absolutely would have never, ever made it in acting or Hollywood in general had it not been for riding on the coattails of their famous father, Henry Fonda. That's my opinion. And a very limited amount of talent and limited intellect in the way they project themselves and do things. And for Jane Fonda to be inducted into a National Women's Hall of Fame, I think that's a slap. in the face of all the women that have fought and died for this country and our military, and I find this to be ridiculous. What are your thoughts? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Let's see, what else have we got? Democratic National Chairman Tom Perez basically came out and said that any and all of us that voted for Donald Trump and his administration and continue to support Donald Trump and his administration are stupid. And MSNBC so-called host of one of their news segments, Chris Hayes, said we are all fools for supporting the Trump administration. I don't like being called stupid, and I don't like being called a fool, because I'll tell you what, whether you agree with Trump's politics, his personality, his past, I don't care. I think he was what was needed at that particular time in American history. And we need him now for other issues that are going to be coming up, cropping up, and rearing their ugly head over the next 2 years, i.e. the border being the biggest one. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, Hanoi Jane, as she is known very well, she didn't make all that many movies, did she?
Oh, she was in various movies, Comes a Horseman and Barbarella and others. I will say, and I will give her credit, Keith, that in the movie Comes a Horseman, I thought she did a really good job. But that's the only movie where I thought she had some talent.
That's Electric Horseman?
No, I said Comes a Horseman. The Electric Horseman is a different breed of cat all the way.
Okay. I think someone like Maureen O'Hara, now there was a class lady.
Oh, I agree.
You know, and maybe she's already been picked. I don't know, but Hanoi Jane, I don't think so.
You know,
His father would be rolled over in his grave. You knew that.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think a lot of the people from that era, whether it was Henry Fonda or Jimmy Stewart that fought valiantly for our World War II as a bomber pilot, James Arness, wounded in action, that went on to star in Gunsmoke in a lot of movies, I think a lot of them are disgusted with what Jane Fonda did.
The thing of it is, there was no reason. What she did made no sense to anyone that I know of.
Yeah.
She's a loser.
Well, it was a publicity-seeking attitude and venture that just solidified with me that she's not worthy of the title being called an American. And she has come out and apologized and said it was a foolish mistake. But you know something, Keith? I'm hard to forgive somebody that trounces and stomps and denigrates our United States.
You know, in our day and age now, it's very difficult to hide anything.
Yeah.
Case in point is, like, all these photos they've dug up of Joe Biden, you know, and his antics. And, you know, you can't hide from your past.
I don't think that Joe Biden is going to survive this. I think there's going to be a big broom and a dustpan, and they're going to sweep him off the stage. I really do. Keith, I've got another call waiting. God bless you. Good to hear from you. Have a great day. Thank you.
See you later.
All right, buddy. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Good people, conscientious people, knowledgeable people, and they can help you get back to being you. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue. Suite 2 in Burley is almost choked to death. Telephone number to call, 678-1191. Don't forget Nick Greenwell and all of his staff. They know all about the exercises that are going to help you. And they've got got the only hydrotherapy pool of its kind in this area. Please get a hold of them today. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 678-1191, helping you get back to being you. Caller, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Bev. How goes the battle?
Well, we're in the front line. We got our uniform dirty, and we're going to continue to play.
Good. I've got a little complaint here. Probably most people it has been brought up. I'm going to try to keep the verbiage clean. If thank God it doesn't happen, something would ever happen to Trump, you'd take Beto Obama and Arturo Pelosi. They would be right down on that border with all the help that we need to get everything done down there. What do you think?
No, I disagree. I think that the border, be that as it is or was, but never might be the same again. I think the Democrats and the Beto O'Rourke's, I'm not going to call him Beto, that's his nickname that he prefers to get more notoriety. I'm just going to call him Robbie. That's his first name anyway. I think they want to leave that border as porous as possible to add to their numbers of welfare recipients, which equates to votes. Honestly, sir, I'm not trying to be arbitrary with you. I don't think they want to fix that problem.
Well, probably not. They're going to keep on. They're going to keep on, and it's one little thing after another. One little thing after another, and this is never going to clean up. I just don't think it'll ever change.
Well, I'm really concerned. You said something a minute ago that I've thought about a lot. I don't know how powerful and how all-knowing Trump's security forces are that watch him and protect him. But I think going into 2020, and I'm just going to say this on the radio, that I'm going to say that I have great concerns for President Trump's health and well-being because the Democrats are drawing the last short straw out of their hand, and I'm scared as to what might happen.
I have always thought that. I've been around 83 years, going on 60. I've been around a lot, quite a bit of time in the military and stuff, and I always go back to this thing, back when in the commander's call, I think I've told you this before, back in 55, the Russian czar, or whatever you call it, he made the prediction that we'll take you without ever firing a shot, and I have lived this ever since, and it's going to happen.
Well, that was Nikita Khrushchev, and I remember the circumstances very, very well. I was in high school at the time of that statement. And whether it's Russia, I'm not, okay, let's just stop for a minute. I am not concerned about Russia. I'm not. I don't have any inklings, or I'm not losing any sleep, or I'm not wearing off any deodorant about Russia. My fear is China. Has been, and I've said this on the air for a long time. Yesterday, I had a gentleman on my program that was talking about how China is trying to steal all of the United States American citizens' DNA so that they can possibly develop things that are going to hurt us. I'm much more concerned about China than I am Russia.
Well, I guess it was just a matter of speech. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. It's not necessarily going to be them, but it's there, the saying's there, and somebody's going to use it at their advantage, sometime or other.
I agree with you. I appreciate your call. It's good to hear from you. Thank you very much.
You bet. Nice talking.
All right, sir. Thank you. Nice man right there. Hey, I want to remind you about Jake and the crew over at Rain for Rent. Oh, my, I can't tell you boys enough. You better get on in or give them a call for your irrigation needs. They are a Reinke Diamond dealer, and they've got Platinum Plus, I'm going to say that again, Platinum Plus certified pivot techs. Oh, my, the industry's longest warranty and dedicated sales and service staff serving you. And they know every one of their people really know how to better serve you and your irrigation needs. Get a hold of them today at Rain for Rent. 438-5065. They're located at 134 South, 600 West of Paul, and they're waiting right now to help you for your spring irrigation needs at Rain for Rent. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know what bothers me about our news media, and I'm going to condemn CBS, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, the list goes on and on, is that the American public is being fed lies. They're being fed untruths. Now, I've never come out with the premise that I am the number one philosopher and professor of our Constitution, but all you got to do is read it. Read it. And you will understand the ins and outs, do's and don'ts, and what really is the truth about how our country was set up by some brilliant forefathers, and is still being run by that Constitution today. But when you take the likes of little bitty Jerry Nadler from New Jersey, a Democrat that has SMS, small man syndrome, and he gets really pugnacious and looks at the camera and says, I demand that the administration turn over the Mueller report in full today, April 2nd. Well, come on, folks. Let's also remember that little Jerry Nadler, 21 years ago, stood up in front of TV cameras and said, no, we can't release the Starr report because there's too many names in there that were indicted and possibly going to be probed and investigated through the grand jury, and they're innocent and we can't release their names. Remember that? It's the same little fat man, Jerry Nadler. 21 years ago stood up and said, why, in regards to the Starr report, we can't release that. But now he's the same little fat man that is saying we've got to release it today and I demand it. We're going to subpoena that report in full, not with any redactions. Well, that's illegal. That's illegal. There are names and circumstances that are classified information in that report. And those have to be redacted before all of a sudden it becomes open to the world. And Nadler knows that. The Democrats know that. Swalwell knows that. Old Bug-Eye knows that. Adam Schiff. They all know that. This is political theater. That's all it is political theater. And these dim Democrats are raising all kinds of holy cane over an issue that they're not right. They're not legal. 10 days is approximately what we've got to wait for that report to come out. And I said this yesterday, and I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, the man, Attorney General William Barr, would be an absolute fool to do anything after all this public scrutiny that would change, alter, or vary the real context of this report. And the Democrats are just kicking a dead dog here. They're just kicking a dead dog to get more media coverage. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I'd like to hear from you. While I'm waiting, I want to remind you about Ark Animal Hospital. Hello, Dr. Bill and the staff over there at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. My. They've been voted Minnecache's best veterinary hospital on multiple occasions. So don't forget, big animals, large animals, and itty-bitty animals, your pets, your livestock, whatever, they can help you. Keep them healthy. Absolutely. So, again, write the number down and give them a call if you have a problem or you need their assistance, 678-1177. I'll repeat it again, 678-1177. Ark Animal Hospital in Heyburn, where they have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Absolutely. Come on, folks. Don't let me down. You've been great. Give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I have just a moment waiting for your call, I also want to mention Barry Equipment and Rental. Oh, my. Three locations serving you. And 3 great locations. And they know all about retail equipment sales and equipment rentals. And they've got the largest selection of all the different size Bobcats. Don't know how to run one? No, you don't have to worry. They got a big sandbox out behind the business. They're going to put you in that sandbox and teach you. Absolutely. 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and the Nampa location for the best of equipment sales and retail equipment equipment rentals. You get a hold of them today. Barry Equipment and Rental, serving you. And they still need some more technicians, too. Great job opportunities at Barry Equipment and Rental. All right, now it's your turn. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. At 10:06 this morning, we're going to have one of the principals of this Mueller investigation on my program, and that's Dr. Jerome Corsi. And that's at 10:06 this morning, and we're going to find out. He's got a book out called Silent No More, and we're going to hear all the ins and outs. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again, Zeb. You know, if you look in your yearbook when the year you graduated from high school, you were probably a handsome rascal, right?
Nope.
You weren't?
No, I was. I had a flat top at that time. My mom and dad would not let me have long hair, and we got into many verbal confrontations over that. I had a flat top that you could have landed an F-16 on. I hated that haircut.
Well, I used to wear mine that way too because that's the way you did it.
Yeah, but then my mom, when I was about 11 or 12 years old, they used to make. You remember that butch or that flat top or that butch wax? It was kind of a pink, kind of a cream, and they'd put that in your hair to make sure that it all stood up in the same direction. And on a hot summer day back in Wisconsin, when it really got hot and melted, you looked like a human candle.
Do you remember Burl cream?
Oh, it was ugly.
That was, they should have patented that to use in lubrication in cars.
Yeah. So what's your point, Keith? What did you call back on?
Okay. I just seen Nancy Pelosi a little bit ago on TV, and I thought, you've lost it, lady. She looks horrible. I mean, horrible.
Yeah, she has.
No other way to describe it.
Yeah, she is aged, and I'm going to be polite about this, as polite as possible. But I would say that since Christmas time, and I'm being kind here, since Christmas time, Nancy Pelosi has had Father Time walk up and just absolutely hit her with what Botox didn't cover up. She looks very aged.
Well, going through tough times makes you that way.
I know. And
she was going through a real tough time because her party was turning against her. You had this Cortez coming in and, just trying to disturb everything they were trying to do to get this green program underway. And I think she's done a lot of worrying about her job.
I think Nancy Pelosi can see the handwriting on the wall. That when a 29-year-old former bartender that does not have the smarts, does not have the background, does not have the resume, can tell the Democratic Party, hey, I'm the leader of this party, follow me. Pelosi and the rest of them have got problems.
Well, there's Ho Chi Minh, there's Stalin, there's Hitler. All these people tried to do it with charm, and that's what she's trying to do. And she's dragging a lot of people along with her, but one day people are going to wake up and say, this lady isn't for real.
Well, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is nothing more than a puppet being played with a lot of marionette strings. She's not smart enough to do all this on her own, believe me. Keith, appreciate your call. God bless, man. Have a great day. Thanks.
You bet.
All right. This 29-year-old bartender is leading a lot of the Democratic Party and quite frankly us, if we let her, off a cliff. She is not a mental giant. She's not. And she is not someone that has done or accomplished anything, but she is, for some reason, she is the chosen golden child by the big money people to take the left weak minds and mold them into like $93 trillion of debt on a Green Deal that is the most dumb and asinine thing you've ever seen or heard in your life. But people, to some degree, are already buying into it. You know, that's why I wanted to have Gregory Wrightstone on this morning at 9:06. There's a guy that's a straight shooter, and he's going to tell it like it is. And even here locally, we've got the fearmongers like Jim Jones, a lawyer that pretends, I guess, now in his mind that he's a climatologist, and writing op-eds that we're all going to die in about 12 years. I mean, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And to me, these people show a complete lack of respect for our Creator and God. Honestly. We're going to talk more about that later. Thoughts, and your thoughts are appreciated. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Another woman that is really scary, and I want you to comment on this. I took some heat over this about a week and a half ago when I made the mention that this Ilhan Omar, a Muslim Democrat in our Congress from Kenya, did you know the background on her? She was basically, could have starved to death. Could have starved to death in Kenya, or killed, or any number of things could have happened to her, but the good old USA, United States of America, gave her assistance and an opportunity to come to this great country, the good old USA, and live here, and grow up here, and prosper here. But now she comes out in all of her speeches about how we are a hate-filled nation and we're racist. Now, due to the fact that in 2007, prior to Obama's election, I was called a racist by the dim bulbs of the Democratic Party here in the state of Idaho, and it blossomed like a cancer. I know how derogatory that comment can be. But to call us, the United States of America, hate-filled and a racist country after all we have done for her, and then she comes out and she vilifies Israel every time she gets a chance, condemns Israel and our affiliation with Israel, and stands up and supports terrorism and Hamas. What kind of a congresswoman in the United States is this? One that needs to be replaced. Of course, there's some others, too. What are your thoughts on Ilhan Omar? I don't want her back there. I don't want Ellison back there. I don't want the others back there for their lack of respect and love for this country. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
You agree with me or not?
I agree with you. It is their way of taking over this country.
Yep.
Step by step, inch by inch.
You know, the old Abbott and Costello routine, remember that? Inch by inch, step by step, and all that. And I think the Three Stooges did it. I can't remember which one incorporated that into a comedy sketch. Yeah. It doesn't make any difference, but it's so true. You give them a little bit, and they take more, because they have nothing but time. And the Islamic influence in this country is growing, and it's dangerous.
Yes. They scream victimhood, 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 so everybody caters to them, caters to them, caters to them. Then when they get enough, then they start screaming louder, and nobody's willing to stand up and stop them.
They're afraid to.
Yes, they are. And the Democrats that are letting this happen, little do they realize, if it does happen, they're going to be the first ones taken out and beheaded.
You know,
they're going to be the first ones taken down.
You got to explain something to me, Doug. I mean, I'm an old man, older than you, but you're catching up. And I just do not understand how a 29-year-old bartender from inner city New York could go all of a sudden to be of that power to where she can sit on camera and say, I am running this party. If the Democrats want to go anywhere, they got to follow me. Holy cow!
Well, she's a puppet. She is being run by someone else. She has been put in there for her looks and her youth. And someone else is controlling her and telling her what to do.
Well, there's no question about that. And they have groomed her, and she's made so many mental and speaking errors. But there again, Doug, we look at a very selective choice by the media to condemn her or hold her accountable. That's why I'm so concerned about this 2020 election. We have got a bunch of dim bulbs that are operating and running the media, ABC, CBS, and NBC, all of them, and they only put out their selective opinions of what the American public should know. I'm scared about the election in 2020.
Well, they are a propaganda. That's all they are. They're not the media. They're not the news. They are a propaganda. They are an arm of the Democrats and the socialists that want to take over this country.
But why can't, I'll bet you in your circle of friends, don't mention any names or anything, you go ahead and pick out 10 husband and wives that you associate with and know very well, whether it's in your church or whether it's due to your business, whatever the case might be. I would be willing to bet you today that 30% of the 10, 3 couples, would absolutely find my remarks about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar offensive because they think, oh, those wonderful women.
I don't think so. I think they might be afraid to speak up to stand beside you, but I don't think they would come out and say something against you.
I'm going to stand behind that because the national average is saying that it's even higher than that. That there is almost at 50% right now are going to say, oh, that poor little bartender from New York, why, she's just trying to do her best. Or the Ilhan Omar story of, oh, that poor little Muslim woman, she was just absolutely raised in a situation in Kenya where they wanted to kill her, and she came here, and now she sees how bad America really is. Honestly, Doug, you got to watch out because they're doing a real PR campaign for these women.
They are. And you just tell me, if someone come to you, say you were in dire strait, in danger, and someone comes to you, gives you a helping hand, puts you in an area where you are safe, you can say what you want and do what you want, as long as it's within the law, and then you come up to, and then you start criticizing that person that helps you.
Yeah.
That is biting the hand that feeds you.
And that's why over the last 3 weeks especially, I have been down on the clergy for not doing their job. There are so many sermons that need to be said to the congregations around all our area churches about what's going on with societal ills, and I don't think they're doing their job.
I don't think so either. They're preaching from their planned sermons that happen on every Sunday of every year.
Yes.
This is what the sermon has to be about. This is the life. But they need to teach from the Bible.
I have asked, and this is frustrating to me, Doug, I have asked for over 3 weeks to have, they don't have to call on the air if they don't want to. They can call my cell phone after the show, 312-2976, and they can arrange to come on the program or whatever. I'd love to have them be a part of the show. We can discuss this. Crickets, none. Out of all the churches and all the denominations, nobody?
You've had one on, haven't you?
That was from Twin Falls, and yes, and I have the highest regard for Reverend Thompson of that Baptist church in Twin Falls. One!
Yes. Yeah, everybody out there listening to this needs to talk to their pastor and give them Zeb's phone number and say, hey, call this guy. Let's have a dialogue. Why what's going on?
Amen. And I mean that. Amen. I've got to get a weather forecast on. Doug, go ahead. Senior Center.
Hey, one quick thing, too. I did look up a population of Salt Lake County, Utah.
Okay, which county?
1.3 million. So that we'd have to build a town the size of Salt Lake County to handle the influx of these illegal aliens coming in every year.
And where are you going to find that kind of a landmass?
And money. Taxpayer money is expense.
Oh, Doug, you know doggone well that you and I are so loaded as taxpayers, we can just throw it out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'd rather see you guys throw it out there to help the senior centers.
Amen.
That's where it needs to go.
Good segue.
The people that built this country and made it what it is so that we can take care of them in their lane.
Amen. Amen.
God bless.
Thanks, Doug. Time for the weather quickly, but oh my goodness, Wheel says it's time for the weather. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room. I urge you to give them a call. And, it could be that your loss of hearing might be related to some disease. And holy cow, you better make sure that you get it checked out. It could be because of heart disease. It could be because of high blood pressure, diabetes, all kinds of things. So please don't put it off. And that's, of course, make an appointment with Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And that number again, 312-0957. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Precipitation on and off throughout the rest of the week, so expect to be a little bit soggy. Here's a look at your weather forecast. We are expecting 90% chance of rain showers for today. A little bit on the breezy side as well, expecting a high of 54. Tonight, those rain showers are going to continue with a low of 38, tapering over into tomorrow morning, but hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see some partly sunny skies with a high of 57. Overnight low of 32 for Wednesday night. By Thursday, sunny in the morning. However, rain showers are a possibility by Thursday afternoon, expecting a high of 52, and then we can pretty much expect rain showers throughout the weekend. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at 3.
Oh, she does a great job. She said 90% chance of rain today. I'm just kidding when I say this, Gina. It'll probably be 65 degrees and sunny. Anyhow, that's your weather, and brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Again, they're waiting to serve you with your hearing health needs. Call for an appointment today, 312-0957. Thank you very much. Golly, I got a lot of things here. I got a pile of public service announcements, and I wanted to get this one in here real quick. I'm trying to find it. I'm stumbling all of a sudden. But I want you to put this on your calendar for April 20th, and that's going to be at the Rupert Senior Center in Rupert on the 20th from 4 to 6 p.m., a benefit dinner for J.R. Strunk, a dear, dear, dear friend of ours diagnosed with cancer, and it's going to be a big dinner, and they're going to have raffles and everything. Please contact my friend George Mass or Les Wilson for more information. There you go. I want to remind you, too, about our major sponsor, and that's our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a great big spring tire sale going on right now. You can save a lot of money. You can save a lot of money for your spring and summer driving tires right now. All you got to do is stop in and see them. I mean, great tires like the Ultra Z900 for your car, up to an 80,000-mile warranty. Whoa! And then for your pickups, the Open Country HT, you better get in there today at any one of the 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. At the best in brake service, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. They're waiting to serve you right now. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Nobody better. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Next hour at 9:06, I really am looking forward to Gregory Wrightstone, and he has been on our program many times in the past, and we're going to discuss this climate change and the Green New Deal and the people that are buying into this, there has been and always will be cyclical climate change around the world, controlled by God's hands. And for man to be that egotistical and think that they can control the weather and climate change, to me, that's a slap in God's face. And when I read op-eds like from Jim Jones last week, climate change, pay now or pay a lot more later, to me, that's just nonsensical and, quite frankly, not very educated. We're going to talk to Gregory Wrightstone about that at 9:06. And then at 9:30, we've got Dr. History. At 10:06, yes, we have with the Mueller investigation, and they really came after him, Dr. Jerome Corsi. And then at 10:32 this morning, Veronica Hinkey. All of this coming up on Zeb at the Ranch in the next couple of hours. And by the way, I wanted to say that for those of you that are trying to get a hold of my weekly blog, Cow Pies and Coffee Cups, go to zebbell.com. You'll see where to click on, and you put your address in there, and we'll mail it to you. Caller, I've got exactly 30 seconds. Really fast.
Yes. On this whole global warming thing and all that, climate change and all that, let's remind the people of what I said several years ago, that God has his hand on the thermostat.
Well stated, and we're going to go to the news with that. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Right now, back over to Wheels. We'll be back in 7 minutes. Oh, good morning. And welcome back to what may be a very rainy day. They said 90% chance of rain today. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, and of course with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a big spring tire sale going on right now. Stop in and see them today. Along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, before we go to our guest, I'm going to have this good word for Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. I urge you, if you're doing a little spring house cleaning, like a lot of spring house cleaning, maybe you better back a dumpster up to the back window and pitch and throw, get rid of it. They've got dumpsters in various sizes to serve you, and they'll bring one out, you fill it up, and then they'll come and get it. Call them today, Western Waste Services, always at your disposal, 734-6969. Also, I want to remind you, too, that there is going to be that great big, it's the biggest around the Northwest, I'll tell you what, and they have a lot of fun up at the Lemhi County Fairgrounds in Salmon, the 47th Annual Salmon Select Horse and Mule Sale. It's going to be starting on April 11th and go through April 14th. Absolutely. They've got a whole bunch of great horses and mules for this sale, and they start on Thursday the 11th with a great big breakfast and then all kinds of other activities. Friday, of course, the great big mule sale. Saturday the 13th, the great big horse sale. Don't miss it. For more information, contact our friend Fred Snook at 756-2125. 47th Annual Salmon Select Horse Sale in Salmon, Idaho at the Lemhi County Fairgrounds. And also our thanks go out to Joel Heward and his staff and family for the way that they treat you and your family and help you and your family when there's the passing of a loved one. Always providing the families they serve with the best possible support and comfort, and always with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Don't forget Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. That number to call, 436-5636. And Joel Heward also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. The next gentleman on our program
has been on our show many times in the past, and I hope he'll continue to come on this program. I have the utmost respect for him. He is the author of the book called Inconvenient Facts, the science that Al Gore doesn't want you to know. And we say good morning to Mr. Gregory Wrightstone. Sir, how are you?
Oh, outstanding. Thanks for having me back on. I think we've been doing this now for almost 9 months, I believe.
Well, I think so, and I hope you don't mind if I call you Gregory, or would you prefer another name?
I was about ready to say, oh, great one, but you can call me Greg. So, yeah, it's been we've been doing this, like I say, for a while, but the book just keeps increasing in sales. We're ranked, believe it or not, Zeb. I'm so proud of this. Yesterday, we were #1 on Amazon bestseller for both environmental and public policy.
Wow.
Categories, in the top 5 and 5 other categories. And a lot of it has to do with people like you getting the word out, and getting the word out. It's not just about the book, but about the fact that man-made catastrophic warming just ain't happening.
Well,
climate change is happening. We're in a warming trend, but it's not mainly due to our burning of fossil fuels, and the results of it aren't catastrophic. As you know, we've talked many times, I see a world and humanity that are prospering and thriving.
Absolutely.
The Earth is greening because of rising temperatures and increasing CO2. It's a really good story that you just don't hear anywhere else.
Gregory, let me, if you will, take about 60 seconds here, and I want to read you 2 paragraphs from an op-ed that was in our Times News newspaper about 10 days ago from former Idaho Attorney General for this state of Idaho and former Supreme Court Chief Justice Jim Jones. You've heard of him, and now I want you to hear these 2 paragraphs. Quote, "Climate change is bearing down on the planet, and it's only going to get much worse if we keep pumping tens of billions of tons of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere every year. The warmer air holds more evaporation from warming oceans, which then dumps onto the earth in torrential downpours." And then he goes on to say it will take dramatic action and trillions of dollars, but we simply have no choice. If we hope to leave an inhabitable planet to our children and grandchildren, if we put off trying to fix the problem until it reaches intolerable proportions, it will cost much, much more and may be too late. I'm sick and tired of these Chicken Little syndromes by these people. This is a lawyer. He's not a meteorologist or a climatologist. How dare he?
Yeah. And that's, we get this, the world is ending in 10 years or 12 years, and in fact, I'm in the middle of a commentary going back through all the times we've been told that in the past and how it's just not worked out that way. They keep telling us the sky is falling, but yet the sky never falls. In fact, the sky just gets better and bluer, and we do better. And so just, if you look at the science, the facts, and the data, which is what we should do, we just, my Lord, we see that like I say, Earth and humanity are prospering. We're growing more food year after year after year. Vegetation on Earth, according to NASA, has increased. They said up to 50% of the Earth is greening, yet less than 4% of the Earth is losing vegetation, just opposite of what we're being told. And you know what, Zeb, I testified it was Wednesday, in my state capital, Pennsylvania state capital, Harrisburg. We had a 1-hour informational hearing where I spoke for 30 minutes and then answered Q&A for 30 minutes. And it was a rare opportunity for us to get the actual facts out about climate change. And there were people in that room that, half the people in the room had never heard anything like what I presented. And it was all backed up by sources and references to peer-reviewed studies and government studies, but they'd never heard it because they like to hide that information that runs counter to this notion of an Earth that's spiraling into one climate apocalypse after the other. And it just, like I say, it just ain't happening.
Well, Gregory, I'm a Christian and proud of it. And I'm heartily offended when I hear someone, whether it's Jim Jones on a local state basis or whether it's Alexandria Cortez, come out and make statements, oh, we're all going to be dead in 12 years. They are not God, and only God knows the hour that he's going to return. And I certainly don't think it's going to be due to the fact of a lack of a Green New Deal.
Yeah. There's a real Christian component to this. I think we've talked before. I'm a contributing writer for a group that's called the Cornwall Alliance for the Stewardship of Creation. It's a group of Cornwall.org, and if they send out an email maybe once every 2 weeks from their lead, Calvin Beisner. Very, very worthwhile group, Cornwall.org. But we believe that we should use all of God's creation, all of Earth's resources, for the betterment of mankind, and do it as good stewards. But you'd be surprised how many people are opposed to using all of the Earth's resources for the betterment of mankind and do it wisely. They don't want to hear that. They don't want mankind to get better. And many of these people's ideas are that, and you've heard OAC talk about that we shouldn't have more children. People should consider not having children, and it's just contrary to that. We're doing better than ever, and it's year after year after year. So yeah, you're right about this, and there is a true Christian component, because what the people like the Pope and many of the leaders of the majority Protestant religions have to say about this, they're just wrong. They're pushing things like the Paris Climate Accord and carbon taxes, which are really regressive taxation schemes that hurt. By regressive, I mean they punish the poorest among us the most, because the poorest pay the highest percentage of their incomes, their meager incomes, for energy. So any increases in energy costs, which necessarily would occur, significant increases in energy costs, would again impact the poor among us the worst. So what they're actually doing is not. We should be striving to lift people up out of generational poverty, not constrain them with more expensive intermittent energy. We should provide them with affordable, abundant, reliable energy. And in fact, India is a great example. Just 2 weeks ago, their study came out. They're backing off. They had a 55% renewable target. They've backed away from that. They've knocked it down to 30% because they said 55% just was not attainable. They can't do it. They've doubled down on coal production and coal-fired energy. And they also, in the same study, reported that they had reached 100% electrification for the entire country. Now, I can't believe that every little village has it, but that's what they're claiming. And even if they're close, that's a huge step forward to lift people up out of energy poverty. 4 million people are estimated to die from lung ailments related to cooking over open wood or in many cases dried dung in their homes. And if we can get them away from that, we'll save those 4 million people an early death due to lung complications because of that. So it's a good thing around the world where we provide, again, affordable, abundant, and reliable energy, particularly the poorest.
Absolutely. Gregory, I got to ask you this because, and I'm kind of upset about this, because on your network newscasts, whether they come out of New York or L.A. or Washington, D.C., most of the wingtip shoes and three-piece suit crowd that are conducting these broadcasts have never been out in rural America. They don't understand rural America, and they don't understand how all the food, whether it's carrots, whether it's potatoes, whether it's the beefsteak, they don't understand how all those food commodities arrive at their plate. And for them to come out and support a new Green Deal, it would absolutely kill agriculture. And where is your food going to come from?
Oh, exactly. She wants to get us off of fossil fuels, off of diesel, off of gasoline. And I'm just looking here. I'm looking at the new International Harvester electric tractors, and yeah, they don't have anything like that. It's not feasible. It's not going to work. She wants, how are we going to get, with their plan to go move away from fossil fuels, how do we get food from farm to market? Ox carts?
Yeah.
Horse-drawn carts? I mean, it doesn't make sense. And you know it doesn't make sense. And the dirty little secret of the Green New Deal isn't necessarily the energy portion of that, because the energy and environment portion is only going to cost us $6 to $8 trillion over the first 10 years, where the big numbers for this Green New Deal come in. It's in the social engineering. $45 trillion over 10 years to provide guaranteed jobs at a family-sustaining wage and all the associated benefits. Another $36 trillion for universal health care and $4 trillion for guaranteed housing for all. That's all part of the Green New Deal that we don't, your listeners may not be aware. They heard about the crazy stuff of trains across America and getting rid of airplanes. So that's all part of it. But the big ticket items are these social welfare programs that are part of this. And it's actually, the Green New Deal is actually a socialist manifesto masquerading as environmental policy. And it's not something I want. It's not something you want, and I'm sure it's not something your listeners are striving for. It's bad.
Well, Gregory, how did this new Green Deal, how did it get as much traction as it did with Kamala Harris and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Cory Booker and the rest of them? Why are they advocating something that is so cost ineffective? It would absolutely make our budget look minuscule. We're already in debt in the red, over $24 trillion. That would add an additional $94 trillion minimal to incorporate this. Why are they buying into such idiocy? I don't understand this.
Well, I do. They believe, or they say they believe, that the Earth is on the brink of climate apocalypse. And if we don't do something now to solve it, there will be one climate apocalypse event after another, and that we need to save humanity. And if they believe that, if that were to happen, well, maybe we should do something drastic. But I don't see it happening. There's just, the science doesn't back this up. The things that they're predicting are predictions, speculation based on failed climate models that overpredict warming. About, again, it's speculation about what might happen 30, 50, or 80 years in the future. And what I do is I look at what's actually happening today, and these predicted cataclysmic events are actually, for the most part, improving. And we've talked about forest fires before, but forest fires are the best example of just how wrong they are. They state as a fact that forest fires are increasing due to climate change, when just the opposite is the fact. We have seen both number and area of fires in the United States and worldwide decrease, and the experts tell us it's because of climate change. Just opposite of what we're being told.
Yeah.
And we can see that in fact after fact, and apocalypse prediction after apocalypse prediction, that they've just got it wrong. So we need to beat it down. I just testified, again, last week in Harrisburg before our state house. And it was great to get this information out there. Validates significantly a lot of what we've talked about here before.
Let me ask you this question. Does the American public, because of a very slanted and biased media, do they really understand how absolutely cost-ineffective solar and wind would be to rely upon the electric grid? It's not going to be there. Do they understand this?
Yeah, I think they do, but it's, again, they're being fed such bad information.
Yeah.
And we're being, the contrary science is being silenced. I believe we've talked before. We had just a tremendous smartphone app that we rolled out a month ago, and Apple took it down here a few weeks ago. They removed my app from the Apple App Store.
Oh my!
They're censoring me and the science that I present. They said when they took it down, they informed us that it lacked compelling content. Well, that wasn't the problem. The problem was it was too compelling, and we had too many downloads. We had 13,000 downloads in 2 weeks.
Wow.
They didn't need to get it out there, and then we find out that Al Gore sits on the board of directors for Apple. You think somebody picked up the phone and said, hey, you got to take this app down. So we're not sure what we're going to do about that. If you've got any of your buddies that want to take on a pro bono legal challenge for Apple, I'm their guy. It should be fun.
Let me ask you a final thought here this morning, Gregory. I'm really concerned because with the likes of the new Green Deal, and then our own Idaho Power has come out and said that in 25 years they're going to put the lion's share of their energy into wind and solar, etc. It's scary to me because there is a major push to incorporate the Green New Deal and force it upon us. So where are we today, and what's being done to protect us?
Well, we just need to get the word out. I'm not sure what else to do. I'm not pessimistic. I am optimistic about what's going on and where we're going with this. We hear a lot in public about this, but the people I talk to as I travel around the country, just the regular Joe off the street, we go out to dinner and sit down and I talk to the guy next to me, and they strike. Their people are thirsting for the real science data, and that's where my book. And the app, you can get the app on Android, but that's where good information like this, and our book, Inconvenient Facts, just keeps, it's incredible. After a year, the sales just keep right on climbing and climbing and climbing.
Let me ask you quickly in the time remaining, what about the book? Where can my audience find your book?
Well, it's been sold out on Amazon now for over 4 weeks. They got a shipment in last week, and it was sold out in 12 hours.
Wow.
That's how that's incredible. You can go to inconvenientfacts.xyz, Inconvenient Facts. Use the promo code, only for your listeners, 1776, to get $5 off. So Inconvenient Facts, you can actually see a video of my testimony last week. I've got great things on my blog, and I've got great YouTube channel you can link to there on the website. So inconvenientfacts.xyz, and if they don't look at any other video, they have to look at the one relating witch hunts in Europe in the late Middle Ages and climate change. Pretty interesting.
I absolutely thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the author of Inconvenient Facts, the science that Al Gore doesn't want you to know, Gregory Wrightstone. Come back soon, Gregory. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Zeb.
God bless. Thank you. There you go. I've got a copy of the book over here on my bookshelf, as a matter of fact, and I urge you to get a copy, too. And remember, he said promo code today, if you'll get a hold of him, 1776 and $5 off. There's a man that really knows what's going on with the purported climate change and global warming and tells the truth, and it dispels all these other hot air balloons. We got to pay some bills here real quick, and then we're going to have my buddy on the program. He walked in very silently, took his cap and his jacket off, and is sitting there patient like a little first grader about ready to get his knuckles wrapped. We're going to talk about Patterson's at 421 East Main in Burley. You know what? There is nothing better than taking some of your money that you get back on a tax refund and spending it on you. Maybe you'd like to have a home theater system. Maybe you want to come home and just kick off your Tony Lamas and get in a comfortable chair and just relax. Well, you can. They've got all the home theater systems right there at Patterson's at 421 East Main in Burley. All your electronic needs. Maybe you need a new TV, Samsung, Sony, Toshiba. Or how about this? You want to kind of perk up your four-wheeled wonder with a complete sound system, speaker and stereo in your car? Whoa, they got them all at Patterson's, 421 East Main in Burley. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. You stop in and see Patterson's today. Want to also remind you about a big sale that's coming up, and it's managed by our friends at Rogge Auction. Oh, my goodness sakes, I know Dr. History will be over there. He loves to go to sales, and this is going to be the Great Big Spring Community Sale held on April 13th at 10 o'clock in the morning at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds out in the hayfield, I'll tell you, and they're taking consignments right now. Farm equipment, guns, livestock equipment, loaders, everything. So be sure and get a hold of Rogge Auction Company because they're taking your consignments and they want to help you. So give them a call. Give them a call. Ron Rogge, I'll give his number, 431-6187. I'll repeat it, 431-6187. The great big spring community sale to be held April 13th at 10 o'clock at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds. Don't you miss it. Well, I will be going to Dr. History. Look at, I'm on time, too. In 1 minute, we'll be ready to go with Dr. History, and I want to remind you quickly about our friends over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Hello, Jeff and the rest of the crew over there at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. My goodness sakes, they've got specials on floor coverings. They've got new arrivals coming in every day, and everything is at a sale price for you because they're doing their own spring cleaning over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Holy cow, I mean, these are great people that really understand carpeting and floor covering and understand furniture and mattresses. They've got an education to help pass along this information to you and help beautify and comfortize your home. Stop in and see Jeff and the crew today at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Well, he's here in the studio, and quite frankly, he's probably never heard the word comfortize, but we've just incorporated that word. Good morning, Dr. History.
You know, that word went through my mind for a minute. I thought, I wonder if that's in the Scrabble dictionary.
No, as a matter of fact, well, it is, the way I play Scrabble. I cheat.
Okay, all right, I get it.
How are you?
Great, great.
May I say something about you before we get started? Dr. History was so amenable to changing his schedule and coming a half hour early today because I had a nationally known guest coming on at 10:06, and I want to say thank you for helping out.
You bet. Glad to do it, Zeb. Before we start, I just want to say something to the listeners. Some of you have questioned how to download the show from the internet or from iTunes or whatever. And I had one of my listeners contacted me this past week on how to do that. And then, not being a computer guru, I talked to my good guy, John Ellis, our computer tech guy.
Yep.
So if any of you are having problems, go to my dr-history.com webpage, and under comments, click on that and ask me for the instructions I got from John.
Okay.
And I will send those to you, and hopefully that will help for those that want to download stuff.
Have you noticed that if it weren't for John Ellis on many, many occasions, you and I would be in a kind of a black hole?
Oh, John has saved me.
He's so smart.
Yeah.
And you
great.
call him, and he doesn't really come across like I'm holier than you, or he doesn't sit up on a throne.
Nope.
He doesn't have handmaidens bring him fruit and cookies all day long. He's just a nice guy.
He's a good old boy.
Yeah, now, hopefully I can get my monthly rate down.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
What are we going to talk about this morning?
Zeb, when you think about guns in the Old West, okay, you tell me a name that may come out top.
First and foremost, it'd be the Colt 45.
Okay, nope. Keep going.
Then I'd say Winchester 73.
Nope.
Or then I'd say...
Gunmaker.
Oh, Gunmaker. Oh, well, that'd be Samuel Colt, or it could be the Sharps Company.
Keep going.
Winchester already hit. How about Henry?
How about Browning?
Well, I hadn't got that far.
You hadn't got down the alphabet far enough. So, Browning, an amazing guy. I'm going to show you.
Honestly, I didn't know they were a part of the Old West.
They really are. And this.
I thought Henry and Winchester and Colt were the three that were way back then.
And as I go through the story, I think you'll see how that plays together.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to show you a picture right here. This is their office in Ogden, Utah, or their store in 1881. So that's John Mose Browning and his brother Matthew standing in the doorway right there.
And they're still there.
Yes, they are. Yeah. So, it's not surprising that John Mose Browning found the designing of weapon styles to be a pretty interesting game. He grew up in the business. His dad, Jonathan Browning, set up a small workshop in Ogden, Utah before the start of the Civil War. John was born in 1855, began carving gun designs before he was even 14 years old. So by the time he was 20, he was supplying the family with food, shot with a rifle that he had manufactured by hand on a lathe in his father's workshop. Now, 14 years old.
What year was that?
Well, he was born in 1855, so about 1870, and he's already making guns.
That is amazing.
That work. So, you know, for their when Jonathan died, the father, the responsibility of supporting the family and operating the gun shop fell upon John and his brother Matthew. Well, believing that a man does best that for which he is best suited, the brothers decided that John would devote himself to gun designing while Matt would take care of the business end. So it was a good partnership there. For their first venture, gun shop and sporting goods store, the brothers decided they should have a stock of rifles, and with the help of two half-brothers, they made 25 rifles by hand before officially opening for business, and all 25 were sold within 1 week.
No kidding.
Now, I don't know how long it takes to make one rifle, but they were gone within a week. Now, Winchester, okay, here's the names you're going to recognize. Okay, Winchester bought the patent to the Model 85 in the spring of 1883. Now, the gun was brought to Winchester's attention by one of their salesmen who had run across a model somewhere in Texas. Well, later the president paid a visit to the Little Ogden store and purchased some weapons in stock, which probably led to the buying of the patent some months later. So Winchester bought the patent for that particular rifle. Mm-hmm. Now, by this time, John had developed the idea of his famous lever action. In all, he patented 4 models of this type, which in a few years monopolized the market for repeating rifles. And one of them
was it like the Henry and the Winchester?
Yeah,
with the lever action.
Yeah, one of them, the Model 94 Winchester, actually became the most popular sporting rifle ever produced.
So it was actually started by Browning.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now, in the meantime, John Mose Browning had perfected a lever action shotgun. Now, I've never seen a lever-action shotgun. Have you? I mean, I can't
I can't say that I have.
Anyway, at the invitation of Winchester Company, he worked out a design also for a repeating .22 rifle. Now, he mailed the plans and was surprised to get a letter back telling him to forget it because this gun couldn't possibly work. Well, so he made up a model by hand. John sent it back to the Winchester with this remark, quote, "This is the gun showed in my plans. You said it wouldn't work, but it seems to shoot pretty fair for me." Well, so it was placed into production. The gun, a pump, for many years outsold all other makers of 22s combined. So again, it's Winchester, but it's made by Browning.
I want to make sure I understand here that originally many of the models of the lever-action rifles were made, processed and developed by Browning, but then sold for name rights to Winchester. Is that correct?
Exactly, and some others too that we'll talk about. Now, John followed with 3 types of pump-action shotguns, which were mass manufactured by Winchester and Remington and Stevens. Have you heard of Stevens? I hadn't heard of them. And he designed a bolt-action .22, which almost completely eliminated from the market a foreign gun with which it was intended to compete. So he just really took over the market with what he was doing. But again, Remington and Winchester were the names. Now, one day in the fall of 1889, while hunting near the Great Salt Lake, John Mose Browning made the discovery which led to the invention of the first gas-operated automatic machine gun, and later of the semi-automatic pistol, rifle, and shotgun.
Now, he got this idea while hunting by Salt Lake?
Yeah, listen to this. Every time he fired his shotgun, he noticed that the bulrushes, the cattails, were sharply moving from side to side by the expended by the expended gas as it left the muzzle in the wake of the bullet. So he saw some movement, so he knew there was something going on. All right. So
don't lose me now.
Okay.
Okay.
So, well, you know how if you shoot, you see, like if you're standing by some cattails, they're going to move a little bit.
Especially cats.
That's right. They really move fast. But anyway, you know, his mind immediately saw the possibilities of harnessing this wasted energy to operate the gun mechanism. Well, John returned at once to his shop and started a chain of experiments which resulted in one of the first automatic machine guns. So in 1887, Brown startled the world with the first automatic pistol. Okay.
What year was that?
That was 1897.
Okay, now in one of the John Wayne movies, golly, I can't remember which one it was, where they were after John Wayne's grandson. They talked about the gas pistol.
Okay, this is it.
I'll be darned.
1897. But anyway, its manufacturer soon broke all records in production of small arms. His automatic shotgun followed, and its perfection required more of his time and patience than any other gun. But as his brother Matt said, John never gave up on anything he tackled. You could be sure that sooner or later he would have the gun he was after. Now, he had difficulty getting it produced in America. Nobody really wanted this particular one. So on the spur of the moment, he strolled down to the docks, found a boat sailing for Europe, and bought a ticket. And the great, and I'm going to say this the way it looks like, Fabrique Nationale plant at Belgium readily accepted the design, and thus the first successful automatic scattergun was initially produced outside the United States.
With the gas pistol, was that in the form of like a cylinder, a gas cylinder that would go into the barrel?
I don't know that. I don't think so. I think it was just somehow he was able to harness the energy of the shell, the firing of the shell, to reload another shell back into the chamber.
Because remember when we were kids, Crossman air guns, the pellet guns, they had the pistols that you dropped a cylinder in there, a gas cylinder.
Yeah, and I don't think those were available back then. I really don't. But anyway, the high-powered automatic sporting rifle followed, and the well-balanced .22 automatic. The latter one, made by Remington, was one of John's favorite guns, and he would take his .22 to the foothills and shoot at gophers and cans and everything. So when World War I broke out, John had two guns ready: the recoil-operated, belt-fed heavy machine gun and a gas-operated automatic rifle fed with a 20-round clip, and they were the most effective guns of their type known. One fired 40,000 rounds without a problem. 40,000 rounds. That's unheard of.
Who counted?
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, at the request of the U.S. Ordnance Department, John made models of three different 37 millimeter. Now
this is before World War I.
This is right at when it broke out.
Okay.
So John made models of 37 millimeter, and I don't understand millimeters very well, but it's a 1.5 inch bore cannon, and it would hurl a 1 pound shell at the rate of 150 per minute. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a big shell.
And this was developed down in Ogden also.
Yes, yep. Now, his last creation was the Browning superposed over-under shotgun, which, like the automatic, is
that like the 410?
I think so. Now, actually, like I said, they were developed in Ogden, but this one was also manufactured in Belgium and distributed in the U.S. by the Browning Arms Company. So they started putting their name on some of these guns.
I see.
Now, his machine guns helped with the Battle of Britain by providing the 8-gun firepower with which the Spitfire pilots were shooting at the enemies. So his guns actually ended up on airplanes.
On those little small...
the Spitfire that they used in World War I.
Yeah.
Now, John...
I thought the Spitfire was in World War II.
Well, it was, but they had a Spitfire of some kind, in World War I. And I'm not sure what it actually looked like. I think it might even be a biplane. But I'm not sure.
What was that? The Red Baron?
Yeah, the Red Baron.
Yeah.
But anyway, these were used on land, sea, and air in World Wars I and II and in Korea. These guns.
No kidding.
Yeah, so they went a long way.
Well, how big was the company at that time? I mean,
I think they were still not that big, but they had I don't know how big they finally got.
They were still in Ogden, though.
Yes,
as the headquarters.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, by this time, John was a millionaire. I mean, many times over, very wealthy. But he remained, they said, the same quiet, unassuming, kind man throughout his life. He didn't like high honors, awards, decorations. He never lacked for a kind word to the workers in the factory, even the guys sweeping the floor. Just a good guy.
Well, how many people back in those days did they employ?
I don't know that. And, they still have the museum down in Ogden, and I have never stopped to look at the Browning Arms Museum.
I would love to.
And I've driven past that hundreds of times.
But have you driven past where the actual factory was?
I have not. I know it's down there, in Ogden. And my next trip, I'm going to definitely look this up because which right here, not very far from us. So,
and it's kind of like in our backyard and nobody pays attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping people will listen to this and maybe.
Can I do the weather forecast real quick? You're on a different half hour, so I got to honor this. Interesting stuff. And by the way, they even got into the knife building.
They may have.
Yeah, they did. I had one because it was taken away from me at the L.A. airport because I had it in my pocket, and one of those doggone TSA people took my Browning knife.
You do look like a terrorist.
Oh, yeah.
It's that cloth thing on your head.
Thank you. Don't forget the weather forecast brought to you by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, and they provide accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years, and they are busy right now with the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, retirement planning, financial statement preparation, all of this and more. Contact the best and work with the best. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Precipitation on and off throughout the rest of the week, so expect to be a little bit soggy. Here's a look at your weather forecast. We are expecting 90% chance of rain showers for today. A little bit on the breezy side as well, expecting a high of 54. Tonight, those rain showers are going to continue with a low of 38, tapering over into tomorrow morning, but hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see some partly sunny skies with a high of 57. Overnight low of 32 for Wednesday night. By Thursday, sunny in the morning. However, rain showers are a possibility by Thursday afternoon, expecting a high of 52, and then we can pretty much expect rain showers throughout the weekend. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and the best working for you, your family, and your business. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. I urge you to get a hold of them today. They have offices in Burley and Rupert. The best of accounting services to you. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. Right now, back to Dr. History.
So as I mentioned, John was a millionaire, very kind, good to his workers, just an unassuming, laid-back type of guy. But they say his greatest reward was the satisfaction of achievement. He was much more at home dressed in comfortable hunting clothes than being put up on a stage with industrialists, and, he wasn't into the high-profile stuff, I guess you could say. But John Mose Browning actually died of a heart attack in 1926 after having gone to Belgium to be present when they first had this over-under shotgun was turned out. So the Belgian people did quite a bit in manufacturing guns.
They are fairly well known too as far as quality weapons, aren't they?
Yeah. So, but the original handmade prototypes of more than 25 Browning originals are being displayed publicly at this John M. Browning, and they call it the National Guard Armory in Ogden, Utah. And it's a museum down there. Again, I feel bad. I have never stopped to look at that.
I wonder if anybody in the audience has.
That's a good question. I'm sure somebody has. But anyway, one or two of the weapons in the collection may seem kind of crude to observers, but most were handmade with such skill that except for their lack of bluing, the coloring on the metal, they are difficult to distinguish from the millions of their later ones, which have been turned out on assembly lines in America and abroad. So some were manufactured here as well.
You're quite a bit older than I am, but not really, I'm kidding. But does it amaze you as to the technology and the technocracy of those of over 150 years ago in the manufacturing of these kinds of things?
Zeb, I do woodworking, and you can do a lot of stuff with wood, but metal, I have no idea how they carved.
How did they do that?
Put them on a lathe.
They didn't have the tools or anything.
And rifling in the barrels. Yeah.
Wow.
So to me, this is an amazing guy with an amazing technology.
I bet you this person's been to that museum. Caller, quickly. We're short on time. Go ahead.
Yes, I have been to the museum, and it is awesome. Not only does he have a collection of his guns, you should take a look at the cars that he used to own.
Oh, really?
And it's also a train museum as well.
Oh, well, caller, quickly tell us, because we're short on time, where is this museum?
In Ogden, Utah.
I know, but whereabouts?
I don't remember the exact address, but I'm pretty sure if you typed it in on the internet, John Browning Museum, you'd find the exact address, and you'd be able to go right to it.
All right, sir. Well, thank you very much for your call. There you go, Doctor.
Okay.
History, somebody that's been there.
Great.
For you.
Thank you.
They have the most powerful locomotive ever created at that museum as well.
Really?
Sounds like there's a lot more there than what we thought.
Yeah, a lot more. Yeah.
So check it out.
Thank you. Well, you know, the military guns include the original gas-operated automatic machine gun, and despite its apparent crudeness compared to Browning's later machine guns, it worked with smoothness, which characterized all of his mechanisms. In its successors, the gas-operated, what they called the Peacemaker machine gun, used in the Boxer Rebellion and the Spanish-American War, and the much-improved recoil-operated machine guns developed by Browning during World War I are also displayed there. And various models of these later weapons were used in airplanes, tanks, ships, ground forces in World War II, Korea, and enjoying similar wide military usage was the Browning automatic rifle known to GIs as the BAR.
The BAR. Yes.
And its original model is also included in this display. So, as I said, today the Browning Arms Company carries on with a guy named Val Browning, son of the inventor and a gun inventor on his own right, and he's the president. So the Brownings have continued to run this down there.
Isn't it a shame with today's complex society against guns and ammo and everything? This is an amazing deal. I would like to go down there with you and take a tour of that.
You know, I've got a little bit more about that. Do we have a few more minutes?
You got about 4 more minutes.
Okay. Well, you know, many consider the most famous firearm in the world to be the AK-47 or the M16 and kind of varieties of that. But if you ask firearms experts today, which firearms designer changed the world the most, John Moses Browning would be the first person mentioned.
It's amazing. And they started right there in Ogden.
Right.
And I got to confess to you, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew it was down there, but I just didn't realize how big it was.
Did they ever, you mentioned earlier they had the gas pistol.
Right.
Okay. But they never did really get into like the cylinder pistols, did they?
You know, I wish I knew more about that, but I don't. You mean like the 6-shooter?
Like the Colt 45 and that type of thing?
I don't think so.
I see.
Actually. But the Model 911 pistol is still considered to be the gold standard of firearms and is often described as the best pistol ever designed. It was the official sidearm of the U.S. military until, get this, Eb, until 1987.
No. 87? Really?
And even today, during competition, it is nearly perfect in operation, hardly ever fails. Browning's lever-action, gas-operated automatic, and recoil-operated semi-automatic guns designs are still manufactured today, and many other modern guns have designs that are copied from Browning's design. He also designed the 30 caliber, get this, and I hadn't heard this one, a water-cooled and a 50 caliber air-cooled machine gun.
Wow.
And the air-cooled machine gun is still kind of a military workhorse.
I know that back in the 60s and 70s with all the outdoor magazines like Outdoor Life and Field and Stream, etc., you couldn't pick up a magazine without hitting a great big full-page ad right off the bat from Browning.
Yeah. Now, at the start of the last century, his designs were in most of the, as you said, in the most of the U.S. sporting arms, like magazines and stuff. But John Browning had 128 patents for guns.
Oh, my.
His designs were considered to be mechanical engineering marvels and were manufactured by almost all of the gun manufacturers worldwide.
How big are they today? Or have they been diminished in size?
You know, I don't know how much they are still producing guns.
Wow.
But that's something that, you know.
That's the other side of this thing, the mass production. How many people and how big a warehouse and all the equipment? Wow. I mean, you're talking a lot of people, aren't you?
Right. And, as you know, the other companies like Winchester and Remington, they produced theirs as well, even though they were Browning.
But I didn't know. You really gave me some good information there that actually the patent of certain weapons on the rifles, like the lever action, they were developed by Browning, but then sold under the name of Winchester.
Exactly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So this kind of goes back to really the father, I would say, of the
You got to find out more information about that.
Yeah, I need to find out more about and we're going back to Utah here in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to see if we can stop by and
please do that.
Stop into that museum.
I've got to do a commercial and we'll wrap things up. I want to remind everybody about our friends at Let's Ride. Oh my goodness, it's time. It's time to be thinking about getting out there and getting on a four-wheeler and getting lost. I mean, get out there and enjoy the beauty of southern Idaho. Stop over to Let's Ride. They've got a great big showroom full of all the four-wheelers and all the accessories. And, of course, don't forget to keep you running a great service department headed up by Tyson and the bunch. I'll tell you, it's great. Let's Ride at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4. Stop over and meet some really nice people and let them put you in the aura of fun, because this is where the fun is sold at Let's Ride. Let's not also forget over in the same neck of the woods our friends with Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more with people that are really dedicated and responsive to your needs. I'm talking about Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Don't go away, Dr. History. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. The number to call, make an appointment, let them help you. 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance. You jumped up and I got a minute I need to fill with you. Are you going to be here next week? We got to talk about that.
Yes, I will be here next week.
You'll be here next week, and you're going to do a follow-up on Browning?
I don't know.
Well, I wished you would.
I never know what I'm going to say until about next Sunday or Monday.
I just really, this brings to mind, we don't know as much as we should about a lot of the local stuff in history, do we?
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, Browning Arms
and they're only, 200 miles from us right here.
At the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to stop in there one of these days. And I didn't realize he had what this caller said about a train and cars and stuff like that are in there, too.
Yeah.
So.
And by the way, may we say that if anybody out there has a bona fide historical story that we can prove and you'd like to get it on the air, just contact me at the studio, 312-2976, or call Dr. History.
Well, and just go to my webpage and you can leave a comment. In fact, I did have one from a guy named James. He gave me about 4 or 5 different subjects that I'm going to look into.
Really?
So I appreciate callers, listeners to just go to my webpage and send me an email, because then I can respond.
You know what we ought to do is go buy a car or a little minivan and paint it up that says Dr. History and Friends, like they do with that Texas Country Reporter on RFD, and we'll travel all over the state getting these stories.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, it would
to actually go to the side of the story.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got to run right now and go to the news from CBS, and we'll come back with Dr. Jerome Corsi at 10:06. Wheels, take it away. Good morning, and welcome back to hour number 3. Zeb at the Ranch. Of course, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsors, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations with a great big spring tire sale going on right now. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. You know, that tagline might go right along with the introduction of my next guest, because, quite frankly, he has been through the ringer, as have others, with the Mueller investigation or witch hunt. We are very fortunate to have with us again on this program. He's been here once before, a gentleman that has a book called Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt. And I say good morning to Dr. Jerome Corsi. Sir, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good to be back with you. Thank you.
Well, I've got to ask you this question to start things off this morning. 3.5 years ago, did you ever anticipate when you got out of bed that now, looking ahead into the crystal ball, you'd been through what you've been through?
No. I mean, this has been one of the worst experiences of my life. I mean, it's been a nightmare. And 3 years ago, I would never have anticipated it could have happened. I'm still like a bad dream. I mean, I was subpoenaed by Mueller's grand jury in August, and then grilled for 40 hours. It was over 2 months period of time, 6 different sessions in Washington. Closed-in conference room, no windows, couldn't have my cell phone, no laptops, no clock in the room. Grilled by 3 of the prosecutors and 6 to 9 FBI, and they wanted me to connect Roger Stone to Julian Assange. This was the linchpin of their collusion theory. And when I couldn't do it, they blew it up and wanted me to plead to one of these process crimes, which around Thanksgiving time I refused to do. So I've been thinking they could bust the door down and arrest me and, indict me for multiple charges since Thanksgiving till just, March 17th, a couple of weekends ago. We found out that there were going to be no more indictments and that I was free. But all that time, we've had to worry about it and, wonder what was going to happen.
When you go through something like you've gone through, Dr. Corsi, and others have suffered, I mean, it takes your life, it turns it upside down financially and also with your circle of friends and your job. How does a person get through this and now where you are today try to reestablish a lifestyle that has been taken away from you?
Well, I mean, first of all, I did lose my job. I had all my consulting. I have no monthly income right now. First time in as long as I can remember that's been the case. And, it's devastating. The whole family suffers. His dad going to prison. He can't say no. My wife was a great assistant. When we were trying to decide whether to take the plea deal, she woke up in the morning and told me one day that she'd rather visit me in prison the rest of my life than have me be not the man she married. So I basically told Mueller, and as one count they wanted me to plead on, in order to have no prison time, I told Mueller to take a hike. I'm 72 years old, and if I have to lie to go to prison, I wasn't going to do it. Even though they threatened multiple counts, they said they were going to cost me $2 million to defend myself. They were going to try to get me in prison for 25 years. I'm 72 years old. That would be a lifetime sentence. I told Mueller, go ahead and do it. If that's what you have to do, if that's where justice is in America, I guess you'll just have to put me in prison.
Has this whole event jaded you or turned you into real negative mindset against the concepts of our Constitution in America, or has it turned you the other way to where you have more optimism for the future?
Well, I mean, it affirms my belief in the Constitution and our freedoms, but I'm deeply disappointed that under Obama we have the justice system becoming political. Political. These are all Hillary Clinton partisans. They hated me. They made it clear they thought my writing, the prosecutors made it clear they thought my writing was all lies. I published 22 books since 2004. When I co-authored with John O'Neill, Unfit for Command, the swoop book against John Kerry. And my attorney said to me, he said, look in your rear view mirror, there's a lot of corpses of Democrats with your 22 books. 7 of them were New York Times bestsellers. 2 were #1.
With your writing and your knowledge of the internal effect of what was going on with the Mueller investigation and them asking you to basically take a plea deal and admit to something that you weren't guilty of, this whole thing still stinks. Do you think that the Democrats with Nadler and others are going to bring this whole thing back again?
Well, it's not over yet. I mean, I've already been contacted by the Senate Intelligence Committee and the House Judiciary Committee. We've had to turn over documents. I mean, I've spent over $200,000 in legal bills. I didn't do anything wrong, and I refused their plea deal, so they threatened to put me in prison. What they did to indict me proves the only way I would have gone to prison if I was so scared of a huge sentence in a case I'd lose in Washington. I was so scared of being indicted that I pled guilty to something I didn't do. When I refused to do that, Mueller had no case against me. He was bluffing the whole time. He never never indicted me for anything.
So you never were indicted for anything, and others, like I said earlier, lost their savings, their jobs like you did, and all for an investigation that came out with hundreds and hundreds of pages that said there was no collusion with Trump administration and Russia. All of this for nothing, but the Democrats won't let it go. How insidious is this in Washington, D.C. right now? I mean, you're right in the middle of it. What do you know that you'd like to share with my public about why the Democrats can't let this go?
Well, I think the Democrats, first of all, hate Trump. And I really believe this was a coup d'etat effort. And I said this in my book 2018, Killing the Deep State, which was a bestseller. And I said, the Democrats want to remove Trump from office because they're afraid he will seriously investigate their crimes. We have a political system of justice. The FBI, the Department of Justice, the intelligence agencies, the IRS. You're Hillary Clinton, you can do anything you want to do. But if you're like me, a conservative journalist, they're going to put you in prison because your memory's bad. Well, this is not America. And Donald Trump has got to turn the tables here. I'm hopeful that Attorney General Barr, it's like he brought an end to Mueller, is now going to turn the tables and start investigating Obama, Hillary, and the deep state criminals within the justice system.
Dr. Corsi, tell me a little bit about the report itself. Now, Attorney General Barr has stated that he will have it ready and out to the Democrats and the general public in about 2 weeks on the 15th. But the Democrats, led by Gerald Nadler, are crying and saying they're going to subpoena the report in its full form and not redacted. Well, a little bit I know about that. That's illegal because of grand jury stories and personnel involved in the report that you cannot turn that loose without being redacted. What are your thoughts on this?
Well as legal restrictions on revealing information that could affect national security, especially classified information, it's got to be redacted. Now, I think the Democrats are going to be sorely disappointed. It's like they were disappointed by the report itself in summary form. I think there's no reason that Attorney General Barr would have misled the public with his summary. I think the summary is going to be accurate, and I think you're going to find in this report evidence that Mueller and his FBI henchmen, in a political fashion, did everything they could to impeach Donald Trump, going way beyond the bounds of what was reasonable, and that the entire Russian collusion story had been invented, with the Steele dossier, with the Strzok Page operatives, deep state operatives in the Justice Department, with Obama and Hillary themselves involved. And I think the Democrats are going to be very sorry they pressed for the whole report. It's not going to help them.
When you say that, Lindsey Graham and others have said now it's time to put the shoe on the other foot and find out how high up the food chain this started. Was it right with the Oval Office with Obama? Was it with underlings? What do you think is going to come out in a reinvestigation against the Democrats? Are we going to have another of this scrambled eggs approach for another 2 years?
I'm hoping, and the signs I think are getting pretty good, that Attorney General Barr is a legitimate law enforcement official who will proceed in a fair and even manner. Justice should be blind. But right now the crisis is the Obama administration, Clinton, have done so much damage to our justice system that I think Americans, including myself, all over the country, have no longer any confidence that we have justice in America. That's extremely detrimental to our freedoms, and I don't believe that condition can be allowed to continue. I think Attorney General Barr is going to recognize it, just like he said to Bob Mueller. He said, Bob, you had 2 years. What have you got? I'm tired of the fishing expedition. Even Weissman, I think one of the most crooked prosecutors in history, was blocked from going after Donald Trump's family. Weissman quit, angry, And I think Weissman left the Justice Department because Barr said, Andrew Weissman, if you stay here, you're going to be under an criminal ethics investigation within the first 90 days. So Weissman resigned. These are good signs to me. I'm not, it's usually in Washington, corrupt agencies can't be trusted to investigate themselves, but I'm hoping Barr will come in and do his job.
Dr. Corsi, I want to ask you this question. I know it's a little bit removed from the track that we're on, but I got to ask you this. Why in Washington, D.C. today do our politicians, are they so concerned about Russia, while at the same time they all seem to be ignoring who I think is a much bigger foe, and that's China? What's your opinion on that?
Well, it's a curious question to me, too, because the Democrats were in love with Russia since 1917 when it was communist. Now, the moment the Berlin Wall came down and the Russians renounced communism, the Democrats have turned against Russia because Russia is proving another example like Venezuela of how socialism and communism doesn't work. And the Democrats, I think, today are increasingly naked out in the open with their desire to move the party into a socialist, if not a communist fashion. So I think there's an underlying bias here with the socialists in the Democratic Party who are still angry at Russia for abandoning communism. That's my theory.
With the book, Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt, do you wake up at night and say to yourself, oh boy, I still look over my shoulder and I still fear that someone or some group is going to come after me? What are your thoughts on that? Are you still afraid?
Well, I mean, it's clear I'm exonerated and vindicated from all of the Mueller investigation. But what I, in reconstructing my life, I'm trying to decide, the past 15 years, I've been an investigative journalist. And do I dare continue doing that? Or is everything I write, everything I say, the FBI went and they had limitless resources. They went and interviewed everybody I was talking to in 2016 and 17. And any connection to Julian Assange, which I did not. They had all my emails, all my cell phones. I've sued Mueller v. Corsi's lawsuit in federal district court, Washington, D.C., for $350 million, and I'm alleging prosecutorial misconduct. I want to see that case heard.
Let me ask you this question. We saw Donald Trump, and he came onto the scene, coming down the escalator, and went on to be president. What is there about our political scene that would stop or prohibit this to happen again upon Trump's reelection or in the future another Republican president? I mean, what are the stopgaps here?
Well, we've got to get the deep state criminals out of the justice system, out of the IRS. These are political operatives. They have an agenda. They are basically themselves hard left, globalists, internationalists. They don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in God. These people, are not fundamentally in agreement with our American freedom. And we've got to root them out. Now, the Democratic Party wants to go off the ledge with the AOC and all the others who want to make this a totalitarian leftist society. I think right now the American people are going to not do this. I think American people are going to tell them to take a hike, like I told Mueller to take a hike. But it scares me that we have an out-of-control justice system with the surveillance powers of the CIA and the NSA, and it was abused in the FISA court process. I worry myself, should I continue as a journalist, or will these people just come after me another time?
Do you feel that the values of our Constitution and the rights and privileges of our Constitution have been thrown in a grave and are starting to be covered up? Or is there going to be a resurgence of the values of what our forefathers lived and died for?
Well, certainly I resisted Mueller. I would not lie before God and judge, either to give evidence that was not true against President Trump or Roger Stone or anybody else, and I wouldn't lie in order to stay out of prison. So, I'm fighting for those freedoms. If you take a look at the Democratic Party, they don't seem to have any allegiance to the First Amendment. They want to have, their safe spaces and thought criminals with this identity politics. They don't seem to have any allegiance to the Second Amendment with gun confiscation they're getting. They don't seem to have any concern about the Fourth Amendment, where they want Mueller to have all kind of these unlimited powers, unlimited resources to go after anybody who disagrees with that.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a quick question, and we're almost out of time. So, caller, please keep your comments brief. Go ahead, please.
Well, Dr. Corsi, I'm a contractor in Idaho, and I see the injustice, and I am forced to do what I have to follow the rules, and I watch as selective justice occurs, whether or not it's illegal in California or is Hillary Clinton and the DNC. And you were so furious. And they call me names because I'm a white man who's raised his family right, and I love my country and my God. And I just want things to be proper. And I just don't know if they ever will be. I'll hang up.
Respond to the caller, please, Dr. Corsi.
I can't believe that Brandon Collins, all the people who fought and died for this country, I can't believe it was in vain. And I think Donald Trump is the right president to clean this up. I think he's going to be reelected. I think these Democrats are going to be very disappointed, not only in the Mueller report, even when it's fully released, but also in the country rejecting their leftism. But we definitely need to get back to the fundamental principles of the Constitution. And unequal justice is, I think, one of the most frightening aspects of the residue from the Obama days.
Let me ask you one final thought, Dr. Corsi, and it's all about the verbiage that's been used by the left, especially former CIA chief John Brennan, basically coming out on numerous broadcasts and calling Donald Trump a traitor to his country. We never heard any of that talk or that kind of verbiage before used against any president except Donald Trump, and the left seems to be running with it and nobody reprimands them.
Well, I think let's better watch out Brennan in particular, because that charge might boomerang right back on him. And I think it's irresponsible to have branded Donald Trump a traitor when they obviously had no evidence, and the Russian collusion was a hoax. I think now maybe hopefully with Attorney General Barr, we're going to see an attempt to restore justice in America. That desperately needs to be done. I'm praying that it will happen.
I want to tell the audience, this is a book you must read. It's called Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt by Dr. Jerome Corsi, along with all of his other books. Dr. Corsi, God bless and thank you for taking the time to come on our program, and we wish you the best for the future.
Thank you. My great pleasure to be with you, Ted, but God bless you and God bless your audience.
Thank you very, very much. I really enjoyed having him on our program, and that book, by the way, I'll say it again because it's a book that I'm going to go get and I want to read. It's Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt, and it lays it right out as to how this man's life, Dr. Corsi's life, was just absolutely turned upside down in the last 2.5 years. And if we didn't have the best phone connection, I think he was on a cell phone, and sometimes from way back on the East Coast to here, it was a little bit shadowy, but I certainly hope everybody could hear and appreciate his comments on the program this morning. Dr. Jerome Corsi, and nobody else is going to have him on the air out here, but we did, and we're very proud to have him. Thank you. I want to remind you about some of our great sponsors right now. And that's, of course, like Dino Septic Service. My. They do a job that you and I, we don't want to do. No, you don't want to be out there pumping a septic tank. No, you don't want to handle all that liquid waste removal or cleaning out those sewer and sink drain lines. They do, and they do it well. Dino Septic Service, they've expanded their business to better serve all the folks in this area. And don't forget to give them a call at 436-6526 or in Burley 678-1638. Like I said, fast, fair, friendly service serving you with that great big truck that says smells cargo on the way. Dino Septic Service. Caller, I've got about a minute left in this segment. Go ahead.
Okay. You know, the people that we haven't elected, but the people of the United States have elected people back east that don't know what's going on out west. I'd like to tell of a story, and I don't know if this is true or not, but when somebody out west here submitted a request or whatever for more cattle guards here in the west. And the Democrats from New York and places like that, they really raised heck about that because they said, we can't afford to put on more people like
that
care and everything. You know, that's just how damn stupid they are.
Well, I tell you what, I don't think that we've heard the end of this investigation. I don't think we've heard the end of how it's uprooted and destroyed people's lives and their finances and their futures. And I really want to thank Dr. Corsi for taking the time to come on our show and discussing this. And I appreciate your remarks too, Keith, because government and bureaucracy and common sense, they do not sit down at the same table and eat together, I'll tell you that.
What are we ever going to do when we don't have your show anymore, these people you get on? I just dread that time coming.
Well, I appreciate that, and I enjoy doing it. It takes a little work and effort from my lovely bride and I, but we're getting it done, and I appreciate it. God bless you, Keith. Thank you so much.
No, it's not a little work. It's a whole lot of work, and we appreciate it.
All right, my friend. Thank you very, very much, and right now, we're going to send it over to our main studios for our break at the bottom of the hour. Wheels, all yours.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, thank you. Running a minute or two late here, but I want to quickly tell you on Thursdays we have, of course, Cassia County School Days. And this week we're going to have the lovely Debbie Critchfield on as our guest, and it's brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. Don't forget that. They've got all the games, puzzles, and toys, and baby clothing and furniture, everything at A Child's World in Burley. And they bring you Cassia County School Days, Thursdays at 10:10, right here on Zeb at the Ranch. I got to admit that of all the different books and everything that I've had the authors on our program, I'm scratching my head on this next one because I can't wait to talk to her and find out the gist of the book and the whys and the what-fors. And we have, and I hope I say her name correctly, and she can yell at me if I say it wrong, Ms. Veronica Hinke, are you there?
She's not, sir. I've been trying, but I'm still not getting through to her, but I'm seeing if she'll eventually answer.
Well, just keep trying that number, please. Okay, and we have Veronica Hinke, who was due to be on our program, and she's got a book called The Last Night on the Titanic, and maybe I can get you and Deanne to try to chase this lady down. In the meantime, if you would, I think that's the one, Deanne, is it not? Or maybe it's over here. I think that's the one right there. Thank you. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd like you to give me a call, and we'll visit about anything that you want to visit about for this morning. So give us a jingle on the landline at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There, you can take that whole brochure. Thank you. All right, give us a call quickly, and we'd love to have have you be a part of our program. Let's see what else have I got here before we go any further. The border is worsening as we speak. I absolutely am concerned. I think we're going to be run over in the next couple of weeks. I think we're going to see not hundreds, but literally thousands upon thousands try to put their feet on American soil illegally. And the Border Patrol absolutely is up to their necks in alligators. They can't control it. They are not able to do the paperwork, and this thing is completely out of hand. Democrats remain completely un-American with their thinking that this is okay. It's not a crisis. It's not an emergency. I yesterday had a chance to talk to some people down in the border regions of Arizona and Texas, and they said it's far, far worse than what you are even being told on some of the press and some of the media. And the problem is going to get worse. They estimate that the largest, they call it the mother of all caravans, is headed our way with literally thousands upon thousands of people that have vowed that they're not going to be stopped by our officials and our Border Patrol, and they're going to come into this country. That is an invasion. And I'd like to hear your thoughts right now on the closing of our borders. There are those that say, oh, we can't do that. Why, it would hurt too many people with their jobs and going back and forth across the border. Can we afford not to close our borders? This is turning into a free-for-all. It's turning into no abiding by the laws, no abiding by the borders. We're going to come in and you can't stop us, Mr. and Mrs. American taxpayer. And once we're there, you're going to pay for us. Really, my audience has always been so great. My audience has always voiced their opinion. Folks, we're being invaded. We're being invaded by an enemy that we don't know. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they represent. We don't know what kind of political unrest they want to seed in this country. And there's another factor. We don't know about the health and the diseases that they're bringing into this country. Give me a call, please. I want to hear what your thoughts are on this. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, folks, don't weaken. Help me out on this a little bit as we're trying to figure out what happened to our author this morning. That Veronica Hinke that was due. Wheels, are you still trying to get that number, by the way?
Yes, sir. I'm still trying to call her. All
right. Thank you. I appreciate it, buddy. So give me a call in the interim, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Close her down. That's my thinking.
Let's just extend that a little bit. Take the National Guard down there. Take the United States military. I don't care. These bleeding heart liberals that are saying, well, yeah, but little Juan has got to get from the Tijuana border. He's got to get up in close to L.A. and work here. I don't care about any human circumstances right now about protecting the sanctity and the sovereignty of our border. Do you really? Me, I don't.
I shut the thing down. I mean, these people that are coming in, it is an invasion, and they're going to take over this country without firing a shot.
To say that we should be so concerned about those that might have a job on each side of the border, listen, what about the people that are here to do us ill will? What about the people that are here now with diseases that are communicable and we're seeing outbreaks all over the United States? What about the protection for you and I, Mr. and Mrs. America and taxpayer?
Exactly. These people are going to financially help this country, as many of the left have been saying, that they're going to help this country financially. Then why are they leaving their country? Why can't they help their country financially?
And then, there's something else to be said right there, too, Doug. These bleeding heart liberals that were on television yesterday, oh, how dare President Trump cut the foreign aid to those countries. Listen, I told you on a program back in January, and I'm going to have John Ellis look up the tape. I went into this a long time on my program talking about cutting foreign aid until they ship up or we ship out with the money.
Exactly. The foreign aid down there is going to a corrupt government, and it is giving some people down there a lavish lifestyle, and they are not helping their people. And it's really interesting. America is such a terrible, terrible country, and they want to turn it into a socialist country, but yet people are flocking to come here. Why aren't they flocking to go to Venezuela, a socialist country?
That's exactly my point. And for the liberals and the democratic mindset, to which I think they all ought to be put in a home in a straitjacket, to say that we, the taxpayers, should keep absorbing, and through love and kindness, they're going to see the light. Baloney.
That's right. They're not. They're coming up here to get on the free stuff that we've been giving out to them, and the Democrats are promising them free stuff. And I would like to know, I have speculation on who is behind all these caravans and who's financing them. They do not get up here without some finance.
Well, it's just like the interview that we had a moment ago with Dr. Corsi, and I hope it was legible to the point where you could hear everything, because, again, we did have a bad connection. But it was brought up in his conversation about the deep state and the financing of the big money behind the scenes and the puppet strings that are being pulled. It's the same thing going on at the border.
Exactly. Exactly it is. And that's how they're going to bring this country down to a third world nation. They're going to break us. They're going to bankrupt us. Then they can take us over and have a one-world government.
Doug,
we cannot have a one-world government when we are dominant.
Let me ask you this. At your church, or any church that you have friends that go on Sunday morning, have they sat there and have they said, oh, well, we've got to help these people. They just want a better life. And you know what? My response is, I'll help anybody. And you have helped a lot of people in the area. You've been kind and gracious, and used your own monetary funds to help make somebody's life better. I have tried to do the same myself, my wife and I. But you got to draw back and you got to look at the entire situation, and you got to say, wait a minute. What about the kid down in Paul that needs help? Or maybe the family in Twin Falls that's destitute? Why are we always so quick to jump out of our own country and help somebody else that's breaking the law instead of helping further somebody here?
Exactly. What's wrong with helping the veterans that come back?
Amen.
That wind up homeless because nobody's there to help them. They wind up homeless, but yet they want to spend that money helping foreigners, illegals in this country. They need to help the people that has built this country and that can build this country. There may be jobs here, but there are legal ways to come in and get the jobs.
Well, I just think that this border situation and this bum's rush, I'm going to use that terminology, this bum's rush on our southern border that everybody is anticipating is going to turn into a full-scale onslaught and invasion over the next 60 days. I think that we've got to use I'll underline it, any force necessary to keep those people at bay.
Yeah, and down there for all these ports of entry where all this produce is coming out of Mexico now because it's being harvested in Mexico and shipped up here to sell, you close that border down now, it's going to put a hurt on the Mexican government and the Mexican people, and it'll bring them to the table. It'll be like with Kim Jong-un. Yeah, you've got a red button, but my button's bigger and mine works.
Yeah, and I'll guarantee you it's been cleaned every day. I got to run and take another call, Doug. Always appreciate your calling. Thank you. Thank you. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, this is the thing that we've got to remember. The chaos that is South America. We think Venezuela is bad, and it is. It's the worst. But if you do any research at all, you know that South America has been a third world country and will continue to be one. Sure, there's pockets of modern activity, but it's nothing but chaos, and they bring their insanity with them, whether or not it's disease or crime. And we see California. I was talking to a gentleman, more than one. In the last 6 months to a year, I've ran into quite a few men that I've done business with that were from California who told me how it's destroying their state. And they came up to Idaho to get out of their state, which they love, but they cannot tolerate it anymore. It's unsafe.
Randy, your family, and Wheels, you got to ride the game. We're getting feedback on this call, Wheels. Your family means everything to you. Okay, my family means everything to me, and I mean everything. What their needs are and what their wants are paramount to me, so that I want to try to provide anything and everything I can for their safety and for their future. That being said, that should be the mindset of how we feel towards our country. And I want to protect our citizens. I want to make sure that our citizens get the best for what the taxpayer dollars are spent. That money is not going out of my pocket to help somebody break the law, come here illegally, and become a leech on the system, which they are. I draw the line, and I'm upset, and I'm supporting Donald Trump in closing down the border.
Well, they just keep thinking that he's going to back off, and even the rhinos are thinking that, and he's dead serious, and let's face it, we believe him. But let me get to the point quick, and then I'll hang up. When I was talking to these people, whether or not it's Bakersfield or Riverside or wherever else they had said, some of these people were from Ketchum, Haley. They were upper-class people. They had money. And their neighborhoods were starting to disintegrate because the chaos was creeping into their neighborhoods and their communities, and they couldn't stop it. So they ran. And you can imagine, you put your life into this place, and you're watching your value of your property go down because things are just falling apart.
Yep.
The social structure is breaking.
Yep.
And they have to leave. And they're losing, we think people in California sell their place and move up here, and it's changing. Their property values are disintegrating. They're running away from insanity. And the chaos, California, a beautiful place, is becoming, let's face it, it's over 50%. The state of California is over 50% Hispanic.
And it's being run... It's being run by a bunch of nincompoops that absolutely can't manage anything. They couldn't organize a one-horse parade.
No, they don't care. But you see, when their neighborhoods start to disintegrate, or their friends and relatives who live in those neighborhoods are at risk from violence, you say, when do you realize that reality is reality?
Absolutely. Randy, I got to run. I always appreciate your comments, and I appreciate your calling in while Dr. Corsi was on the air. Appreciate everything you do, my friend. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Trent.
All right, buddy. I tell you what, I'm frustrated. I really am, because I know the bleeding heart liberals out in our audience here in Magic Valley. Oh, you hate all people. No, I don't hate anybody. But I love my country, and I love its citizens. And a lot of those citizens need our help as taxpayers, not foreign illegals that are coming in here and pointing their finger in our chest and saying, in an invasion, we're coming in and you can't stop us. Well, I hope Mr. Trump does. Time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, Don and the crew over there, 324-7657. And oh my goodness, all the delicious meats. You can go to their website, check it out, scarrowsmeats.com. Absolutely delicious meats, whether it's the tri-tips or whether it's the marinated pork ribs. You got to try those. Those are really, really good. Or the different kinds of bacon, all of it delicious from Scarrows Meats in Jerome. And right now, Gina's going to tell us we might get wet. Here she is.
Precipitation on and off throughout the rest of the week, so expect to be a little bit soggy. Here's a look at your weather forecast. We are expecting 90% chance of rain showers for today. A little bit on the breezy side as well, expecting a high of 54. Tonight, those rain showers are going to continue with a low of 38, tapering over into tomorrow morning, but hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see some partly sunny skies with a high of 57. Overnight low of 32 for Wednesday night. By Thursday, sunny in the morning. However, rain showers are a possibility by Thursday afternoon, expecting a high of 52, and then we can pretty much expect rain showers throughout the weekend. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zephyr.
Oh, my. And it really looks like it's going to come down out there. It's cloudy, hazy, 90%. Well, a wet day in store for the valley. Excuse me. And the weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats. Don Scarrow and his entire professional crew serving you at 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. And they are changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time at Scarrows Meats. Wow. What have we got for tomorrow? I'll take some more calls. Love to have you call. Give me a jingle on the landline. I'd like to hear from you. Tomorrow on the program, we have, 806 open forum, and then Dave Bego's going to be on the air, and we've got a bunch of national guests that are going to represent various subjects of politics and books and everything, so don't miss that. I've still got time, like I said, for a couple of calls. Give us a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Why is there so much trash on Highway 30? It's embarrassing and it's really despicable. Highway 30 from like my place going to Burley is absolutely a garbage dump. Speaking of which, are a lot of the trucks that are going to the dump, are they not tarping up? Are they not covering that garbage? What's going on here? I mean, the other day, when Deanna and I were going down to Lunch Bunch, there were just clusters and clusters of garbage in the barrel pits and on the side of the road. What is going on? Don't we have more pride in our area, our valley, and our state than letting garbage go all over? And if I was the farmers in those areas, I'd really be raising holy you-know-what, trying to get this mess clean. Garbage is all over the place. Why? And if it is the fact that trucks aren't covering up the garbage going to the dump, make them responsible to go back and pick it up. Or give them a fine. Absolutely ridiculous. Give me your thoughts on that, because there's garbage all over. We've got a beautiful state. Are we that childish that we want to trash it? Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And they've got a great big tire sale going on right now. Right now, you can save a lot of money on the tires that you need for safe spring and summer driving. Oh my, I'm looking at the different tires like the Open Country AT2 all-terrain traction tire for your pickups and SUVs. Or how about for your cars, the Eclipse tire, the 70,000-mile warranty. Oh, you check it out today. And also, while you're there, check out all the great brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries. They really care. They care about your safe driving. Every one of the 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Zebediah, I blame those people out to the landfill. They don't write tickets. Those people come out there with their roads not tarped, and not a thing is done. And you can follow them all over the road. They don't give a damn.
Bob, let me ask you, how do we correct this problem? Is it to go through the county commissioners or what?
I went to the county commissioner several years ago about this very same thing, and they says, well, why don't you go pick it up?
You got to be kidding me.
I'm not the one that's doing it. I'm not the one that put it out there. If I lose a bag going out there, I go back and get it.
I'm going to contact the county commissioners, and I'm going to find out, because if it's a lackadaisical attitude like this, somebody has got to pay for it. Somebody's got to clean it up. It looks terrible, and I'm glad that you called and agreed with me.
Well, it is terrible, and those farmers out there, they're planting plastic bags instead of potatoes. I hope they grow.
I tell you what, you're not too far off. Bob, God bless you, man. Have a good day. Stay dry. Thank you so much.
Good luck to you. Bye.
All right, buddy. Thanks. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8:06, Zebeth Ranch, where we always say at the end of the program, the way things were or the way things ought to be. And the world needs more cowboys. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:06.